The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi folks, and welcome to Aging Horizons. On today's show, we got a great show. We're going to be talking about energy programs that can assist you with your heating bills. Winter's coming up, and we want you to stay warm and your families. And there's a number of different programs that are available. We'll talk about what those programs are, what their eligibility is, and how you can apply so you can have a warm winter, so stay tuned.
A decade of Montana fourth graders on Energy Share. Not having enough heat in the winter can feel like you're at the mercy of the elements. Energy Share will help keep your family safe and warm even in the coldest weather. Montanans are always ready to lend a hand for our neighbors. No one deserves to be cold in the winter. Like Kaylin Perkins says, Energy Share is like love filling the air. Energy Share is not a government program. It's neighbors helping neighbors who face energy emergencies the Montana way. Call or visit our website today. No fear, Energy Share is here.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare Summary Notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Here in Montana, we love our outdoor activities. Unfortunately, few of them are risk-free. Indeed, Montana is second in the nation per capita in head injuries that can destroy the lives of people we love. That's why you should insist your family always wear protective helmets. But you can do even more. When you fill out your vehicle registration this year, circle the Y and donate $1 to support traumatic brain injury prevention and education. Now that's using the old noggin.
Providing long-term care for someone in need is a labor of love, but it is a labor. Time apart is healthy and necessary both for the caregiver and the person receiving care. It allows each a respite, time to relax and recharge. If you're a long-term caregiver, visit the new Lifespan Respite website. Financial assistance may be available. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Hi folks, and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services Senior and Long-Term Care Division. Today we're talking about energy programs that are available to Montanans to help assist with their energy bills this winter. And we have a variety of programs that can help improve your energy efficiency, and we'll be talking about those. Joining us is Sherry Shepard. You're the Intergovernmental Human Services Bureau with the Department of Public Health and Human Services. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Great. Well, let's start at the top. We're talking about a program that's called LIHEAP now. Used to be called
LIHEAP.
LIHEAP. And what's the difference between the two, and what's the services that they provide?
Okay, so LIHEAP is the same as LIHEAP. We just added the H in there. So LIHEAP is the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. So they're the same program.
Yeah.
And what it does is it helps pay winter heating costs. And the program is, we can send applications out October 1st through April 30th.
Okay. And when we talk about helping with the energy of our home, there's quite a variety of energy sources. Do you cover all sources such as wood?
Yes,
Yeah.
we cover all sources, wood, propane, fuel oil, natural gas, and electricity.
And then, you know, when you provide for them, do the person apply ideally ahead of the heating season or kind of towards the end? How do you establish what you pay them?
So the benefit is based on the size of the home, number of bedrooms in the home, what they heat their home with, and their income level.
Yeah.
And then that all gets put into the system and it shoots out a benefit amount. And it's a lump sum benefit that's issued one time a year. and it covers winter heating costs, a portion of the winter heating costs from October till April. So if they apply in March, the benefit will go back to October and cover charges from October until the benefit is run out.
Okay, and when you do a one lump sum distribution of that benefit, is it given in cash to the beneficiaries that they can spend it the way they want, or does it go to, say, the provider of services?
It goes to, most of the time it goes to the vendor, the primary heat source vendor. If the heat isn't included in the rent, or if they don't have a heating bill and it's included in the rent, or it's just not in their name, then we will issue the benefit directly to the individual. However, they do have to submit receipts, paid receipts, and we reimburse them based on the paid receipts.
Okay, so I'm thinking that, you know, when you talk about a home, we have so many different types of homes that are energy efficient and less than energy efficient. Did you somehow evaluate the home's needs or maybe past use of energy usage to base the reimbursement on?
No. The consumption of the home is not used to determine the benefit. It is used for the weatherization. And we have a priority list, and if they're eligible for LIHEAP, then they're automatically eligible for weatherization. And we generate a priority list, and the households that have the highest energy consumption, they're at the top of the list. And so then we work down the list so that we're addressing homes that need more energy savings.
Well, how does a person know that they might become eligible for LIHEAP? I imagine during the year, well, let's say last year they were fine. This year, maybe their circumstances have changed. How do those circumstances change, and how do you help those individuals?
Yeah, they'll just need to reach out to us. We have an 800 number they can call. We have local eligibility offices across the state of Montana. They can reach out to the local eligibility offices and just request an application. We do have a website that lists the income guidelines and the resource guidelines, and the application is available on that website.
Okay, and I imagine many times, let's say maybe the parents are aware of their kids and their grandchildren are having some energy issues. I mean, they can help maybe get the information and then discuss it with their children.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I want to say that anyone who was on the program last year, they will automatically get an application in the mail for this year. And it's pre-populated with the information that was provided last year. And all they need to do is read through it, make sure it's accurate, sign it, and then submit the updated fuel bill.
And I imagine, you start in the heating season, which is starting now, I guess, but eventually someone needs some help. But I think what's nice is that you're saying that this can go back to, was it October 1st? And start addressing those bills if it's later in the year. How does one establish the amount of assistance that they require? Is it it's income based or use based?
It's income based.
Okay.
It's based on their income, the size of their home. If there's 4 bedrooms, they get a 4-bedroom benefit. If it's a 2-bedroom home, then they get a 2-bedroom home benefit. A number of people in the household, income, number of people in the household, and household type. So a single family home is going to take more energy than, say, an apartment.
Yeah. And then by applying for LIHEAP, it sort of starts the process on other programs too. What's that other program that helps to keep the home warm?
Yes, so it's the weatherization program. So if they're eligible for LIHEAP, then they're automatically eligible for weatherization. But because we can't weatherize every single home that's submits an application for LIHEAP, we do have to have a priority list so we can identify the homes that are in the most need for energy assistance.
And is that usually done during the winter? You improve the home, or is it pretty much a summer thing?
It's a year-round thing. We weatherize homes year-round. Usually, spring, summer is a better time than in the winter, but they still do go out and weatherize in the wintertime.
Well, we're drawn to a close so quickly in our first segment. We got so much more information, but what's important is that you're eligible to apply, and you lose nothing by applying, and there's other programs you might be eligible for. We'll talk a lot more about that in our next segment, so stay tuned.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
I was angry and upset when the doctor told me I have diabetes. I just didn't want to deal with it, the needles and the diet restrictions. But after I started to learn about it, those feelings changed. I was at risk for a heart attack caused by high blood sugar. That got my attention. I started watching my diet and making sure I got enough exercise every day. I want to be around for my grandkids, and now that I know what to do, it seems like a small price to pay.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Brian Lamore. We're continuing our discussion about energy sources that can be available to you through some different programs via the state to help pay your bills this cold winter. In the last segment, we were talking about LIHEAP. And this segment, we'll be talking about weatherization and how do different programs assist you in making your home more energy efficient. We have with us Sherry Shepard. You're with the Department of Public Health and Human Services Intergovernmental Human Services Bureau. And Rachel Haberman, you're the Executive Director of Energy Share. Sherry, let's start with you. You know, we spoke in the last segment about LIHEAP, and now, you know, we hinted at weatherization. How does weatherization help an individual, and how is it tied into LIHEAP?
Yeah, so if they're eligible for LIHEAP, they're automatically eligible for weatherization. Weatherization, the primary goal of weatherization is to reduce the energy costs for the recipient and to increase the safety in their home, increase indoor air quality, improve indoor air quality, and save energy for them. That's what our primary goal is with weatherization.
Yeah, and then how do they know what to do to the home? They must have some type of an assessment process.
Yeah, we do. We have a program. Our energy auditors, our certified energy auditors, go out and they gather all the data in the home, measure windows, measure doors. They do what we call a blower door, and it measures the air infiltration, and so that's how they identify where the leaks are coming in, where the cool air is coming into the home, and then they know what needs to be addressed to stop that air leakage. Usually with our energy audit, you know, measures like attic insulation, wall insulation, rim joist insulation seem to pay back better than windows and doors.
And when you become eligible for this, is there a homeowner's participation cost, or is the cost borne by the program?
It's 100% paid by the weatherization program. So there are no costs that are put back onto the recipient.
Oh, that's really good. You know, when we talk about heat, but let's talk about electricity too, because we have a certain amount of electricity that we use every day. Is there ways that we can cut back on that and not really notice it? I mean, do it efficiently, but not uncomfortably?
Yeah, one of the main recommendations is to lower the temperature on your water heater. Maybe unplug any refrigerators or freezers that you aren't using. Large appliances, if you're not using them, unplug them. The coffee pot, I guess, uses quite a bit of energy. So if you're not using it, turn it off. And then, gaming devices, they use a lot of energy as well. So that would be something else you could unplug.
Mm-hmm. And I think what they call them, vampire energy users. It's like your cell phone charger is kind of always using a little bit of energy, or these things are always on waiting for you, but if you can somehow unplug them. I know I have a plug-in thing that I can just flick the switch on the top and whatever's plugged into it turns off, and it's not inconvenient.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering too, if, like when I left my home today, I didn't turn the heat down. I kept it at the same temperature. How about heating your home? Is there kind of like a rebound energy thing where you want to turn it down, then turn it up? What point does that become inefficient?
Yeah, they do recommend that if you're not there or at night, you lower the temperature. And then during the, when you are there, you keep the temperature at 68 degrees is what the recommended temperature is. But it all varies. It depends on, your comfort level and where you want, the temperature.
Yeah. And what are some of the major energy users in our home that we want to kind of look at, maybe turning down or off occasionally?
Yeah, the water heater would be your big one. Yeah. Turn down the water heater, the hot water heater. Yeah. The dryer uses a lot of energy, so maybe air dry instead of using the dryer. Extra refrigerators or freezers, if you can unplug those, they use a lot of energy.
Okay. Well, now, Rachel, you're the Executive Director of Energy Share, and the LIHEAP, LIHEAP and Energy Share are kind of similar programs, but you're different. Can you differentiate the two?
Sure, yep. Yeah, Energy Share is a private nonprofit organization, and Energy Share's main purpose is to help Montanans who are facing loss of heat or lights in their home, and they just have no money in the bank to pay that bill themselves. So we really focus on those energy emergencies, and LIHEAP is more on the forefront of the getting ahead of the winter kind of thing with their assistance. So also Energy Share assistance is usually not more than once every 5 years or so per household, depending on the situation. With LIHEAP, you can get it every year that you qualify for it. Energy Share is really situationally based, so we look at the individual circumstances. We take income into account, but that's not the only thing we consider. We can go above the LIHEAP guidelines in certain situations. And then Energy Share is privately funded, LIHEAP is federally funded. Energy Share also helps with deposits, and LIHEAP does not. But both programs help no matter what your heating source is, and you can apply for both programs at the Human Resource Development Councils across the state. So you kind of work together with each other. Yeah, but like the Energy Share might be an unexpected situation that happens, exactly.
Right? Yeah,
right.
That you can step in and
comes
help.
up. Yeah.
Well, how do people initially sign up for Energy Share? How do they find out about you?
One thing I like to tell people is that we do ask people to apply for LIHEAP either before or simultaneously with Energy Share. And the reason we want to do that is if they can qualify for LIHEAP, they also can get on that weatherization list, and if their utility or energy provider has any monthly discounts for LIHEAP qualified people, they can take advantage of that as well, which is a really great advantage for LIHEAP.
Great advantage, great.
Yeah.
Well, now we've quickly drawn to a close on our second segment, but we got a lot more information with Energy Share and LIHEAP. Stay tuned.
I was outside working on some equipment, nothing too strenuous. I started sweating and feeling out of breath.
When he felt pressure in his chest and aching in his arms, I knew we had to call 911.
First responders were there before we knew it. 38 minutes later, the doctors had restored the blood flow to my heart.
Now we know dialing 911 saved his life.
Your life is on the line.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
I take care of my wife at home. When I found out training was available, I said, sign me up. It's made a huge difference.
When my husband was injured at work, it was life-altering. The class has taught me that it's okay to grieve, to ask for help, and to better cope as a caregiver.
My dad lives 4 hours away. And the Powerful Tools classes taught me that it's okay to ask for help. I highly recommend them.
To find out about this course for caregivers, go to powerfultoolsforcaregivers.org.
It's amazing the difference a little training can make.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and we continue our discussion about programs that are available to Montanans for the energy sources to stay warm this upcoming winter. How can the government and the private sector help you out? Sherry, when we left the last segment, we're talking about LIHEAP programs that are available, and I think what's important is that individuals can apply online, can't they?
Yes, that's correct. This year we have a new way for them to submit applications. So when they're applying, or if they're applying for the SNAP, TANF, or Medicaid, they can also apply for LIHEAP at the same time. And there is a portal where they can just log in, enter their information, and we're sharing information now with SNAP, TANF, and Medicaid. So we've made it easier for them to apply and access an application where they can just submit it online.
That's great, and you can find out if you're eligible for other programs because there's a variety of different eligibilities for other programs. So apply once and get more.
That's correct. Absolutely.
Which will free up more money for energy, right?
Yes.
Well, now, Rachel, we have energy providers in Montana, and winter comes along, and sometimes people experience problems paying their energy bills. Mm-hmm. Can they be disconnected in the coldest of our winter months?
They can be. So regulated utility companies, which would be Northwestern Energy, Energy West, Cutbank Gas, and Montana Dakota Utilities, they fall under the jurisdiction of the Public Service Commission, or the PSC. Mm-hmm. And for those regulated utility companies, they have to go through the Public Service Commission before they can disconnect for non-pay. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of rules about the number of notices they need to send and everything else that they need to send to the customer. There are certain conditions in the household that would stop them from being able to disconnect a person or a customer. One is if there's a household member that's 62 years or older, disabled, or is on some form of public assistance or under the federal poverty guidelines. Mm-hmm. So those situations, a person cannot get disconnected, but it is the customer's responsibility to let the utility company know that one of those conditions exists in the home. Mm-hmm. So that's really important for people to know. The utility companies and electric co-ops don't want to disconnect people. Right. They want you to stay warm just as much as you want to stay warm. They're Energy Shares partners and helping Montanans keep their heat on. But anyway, there are certain rules and laws that apply, so they can do it.
And it's important to let your energy company know if you're having problems.
Absolutely.
I mean, they want to assist you, they want to help you out, they want to get you on the programs like the LIHEAP and Energy Share. Right. And that you mentioned certain conditions apply, so they need to know that. So talk to your energy provider. That's say, I'm having problems, rather than the bills accumulating.
Right, exactly, yeah. So, and there are some energy providers that do not fall under the jurisdiction of the PSC, and that is electric cooperatives and propane distribution companies. They are self-governed and have their own policies. So again, like you said, be sure that you contact your energy provider and let them know and stay in touch with them.
And, if you're a senior, you can contact your area agencies on aging.
Right.
They have a variety of programs to help. And Sherry, what I like is you have that kind of like a universal application. If they go on, they do an online application, they can find out if there's other programs that are available to them. What are some of the other programs that could help out possibly?
Well, Energy Share can help, but on the online application, the SNAP, which is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, Medicaid, and TANF.
And maybe you can get on some senior programs, have Meals on Wheels, certain things that can help reduce your monthly billing. But now, Rachel, that I understand that there are some companies, that energy providers, that have internal help programs rather than just the two we're talking about here.
Right, and that's why it's so important to stay in touch with your energy provider. So there are some energy providers that they might do the monthly discounts if you're LIHEAP qualified. They have, some of them can help with weatherization tools or equipment, energy conservation kind of equipment. Some of them forgive arrearages, so either partial or full forgiveness of those. So it's important to ask. If you're running into trouble, make sure you check with your energy provider, LIHEAP, Energy Share. Just reach out and ask for help.
Ask for help. And Rachel, I know Energy Share, occasionally, in the winter, our electric bills come in, and there's an envelope and information that one can contribute to Energy Share to help these individuals. Tell us more about how that works and how it helps support you.
Yeah. There will be donation envelopes or pledge cards in November utility bills and in the Rural Montana Electric Co-op magazine. That comes out in November, and you can send a donation in that way. Donations are tax deductible because we're a 501c3. You can also donate electronically to Energy Share anytime on our website. Just go to the website and click on Donate Now.
Okay, and then that's not your full funding. How are you funded in addition to donations?
Right, we have private donations from individuals and small businesses across the state, and then utility companies, electric cooperatives, and some large electric users also support Energy Share.
Oh, that's great.
It is. We're very grateful.
And of course, Sherry, though, through the government, you're sponsored by governmental programs. And so we need advocacy for those too, don't we? Still?
Yes.
Okay, well, we've drawn to a close on the show so quickly. Thank you both for coming here, and thank you for supporting Montanans. I mean, it's many times you don't see these people. Sometimes they're too proud to ask for help. And an important aspect of this is everything you do is with confidentiality. Same with the energy companies. You ask them for help. You say you're having problems paying bills. Your neighbors aren't going to find out about it. It's not going to be in the newspaper. But we want to keep Montanans warm, don't we?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. And again, for our viewers, if you can help Energy Share in your November bills, you can make a donation to Energy Share, and that will go to help your neighbors. We want to have a nice warm winter for all Montanans, and it'll take all of us to help do that. Thank you for joining us.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.